Yeah, it'll be nice to have the weekend off rather than getting bashed around. But at the same time, we've been in some pretty good form over the last month, so it would have been nice to have sort of kept that rolling. But certainly, it's a chance to recover a little bit.
How bad has it been for you personally, carrying essentially the second week of
Oh, look, I think a lot of the time it gets blown out of proportion. You get a niggle here and there most weeks, but it just seems to have been blown out of proportion most weeks throughout the season. So it's not something that we really can control as players, but it's quite similar to last season and the season before that.
So you haven't been close to not getting up for a game, Patrick?
No.
The break this time, do you play at the same time as you did last break, or is it a different procedure as a club?
Oh, look, it's pretty similar. It's probably come at a good time for a few players because there has been, some that have struggled to get up for games. I know Tales will certainly enjoy having the week off. He's had an outstanding season, but he'll enjoy having the week off. It's a bit of a chance to, I suppose, mentally refresh yourself as well. So it'll be used in that area.
Do you start looking at Collingwood already, or do you give yourself a break and leave that until you come back?
No, we certainly will. I certainly watch the game on the weekend, and there's things that we can take out of that, but we'll certainly prepare for them this week.
What do you take out of a game like that when that's not really the Collingwood that goes out there most week?
Yeah, it's a difficult one because we know that they're a quality side. I suppose you take a bit out of what Essendon did in the way that they played, but at the same time, we know that they'll respond, so we're going to have our work cut out for us next Sunday.
When you go off the ground, Paddy, a lot cameras on you and you're always in pain and grimacing. Are you getting targeted out there? Are people giving little sly elbows, little knees? How can we keep getting battered all the time?
Not really. I think I've had a bit of a dodgy ankle for the majority of the season, so when you have that, you might tweak it during the game, and when the amount of media coverage that each game has now, everything just gets magnified. So that's all I think it is.
Do you need to boonie up a bit and not touch or rub everything so that no one asks these questions?
Perhaps, maybe, yeah.
And heard what you said this morning about there's a lot of things that are not in your control, and you're relying on a fair few results going your way. If you don't make it, is that an issue of bad luck from what happened at the start of the season, or is that what you in the end deserve because of the 0-3 start?
I'd never call it bad luck. We've put ourselves in the situation that we're in, so we take full accountability for that. But we can only control the games that we have ahead of us. There's no point looking back, so we'll focus solely on Collingwood. There's no point watching or focusing on other games and hoping that certain teams win. We can only control our performance against Collingwood, so that's what we'll focus on.
So what's it say if, again, for the second year in a row, you're relying on other teams to get in the eight and living to around 23 on? Really someone else losing?
We don't think about that. We think about the games that we have left, and even more specific, Collingwood, and even magnifying that to the first quarter, and for us as players, the first contest that we're involved in. That's what we can control, so that's what we worry about.
Okay, so in that control aspect, then what will make this side better so you don't have to be reliant on the other teams to be on, say, next year, not this year?
Oh, just the consistency. We've played some really good footy this year, but also some really poor footy. So it's just about bridging that gap between the good and the poor and having more consistently good performances.
Is that just a reflection of the profile of the squad?
Oh, look, it's a...
Brendan keeps pointing out it is a young squad, so...
It can be many things. It can be injuries, it can be form, but at the same time you create good luck for yourself as well. We've got a few players back now. Ricky Henderson's back in the side, Tommy Lynch is back in the side, and they really add to the 22. So we're playing some good footy. We're in good form. We didn't get the result that we were after on Friday, but I'm confident in the form that we're in.
Did you find the bad luck line a cop-out line in the end?
Yeah, I do. I honestly believe you create your own luck.
How have you found the captaincy this year in terms of, have you felt being responsible for the side more so than just your own playing ability? Any weight of expectations? Has it been easier or harder than what you thought?
To be honest, it doesn't really change too much. Sloaney and myself are the ones that toss the coin every second week, but it doesn't really change anything. We have a leadership group that's 6 of them are playing, so it doesn't really change too much. There's leaders throughout the entire side.
Talk about that consistency. Do you feel
over the last sort of 5 weeks that gap's really been getting smaller and smaller? Or?
Yeah, I do, Harry, and I think we've certainly improved in that area, and that's what we've set out to do because it's been well documented. It had been a roller coaster ride, so the effort's certainly there, and we're starting to get the rewards. We're playing some better footy, but again on the weekend, our first quarter really let us down, and we were behind the 8 ball. But we're still playing some really good footy, and hopefully that continues against Collingwood in a fortnight's time.
So that must see your confidence sort of rising each week, though.
I don't know if confidence. We're certainly confident in the game style that we're playing. There's still certain things that we need to refine. Contested ball is a big one for us, but it's also the balance on the outside and winning that uncontested possession as well.
So Patrick, what was it with the handball on Friday?
Oh, look, it can be different things. It can be the pressure that the opposition apply on you. And we're certainly under no illusions. Hawthorn are a very good side. They're the reigning premiers, so they bring certainly an element of real intense defensive pressure. So that's a bit of it, but also at the same time, when we have even numbers ahead of the ball, sometimes the best option is just to kick it forward, and we didn't quite always get that right.
What does it say for the group then, Paddy, that you're able to match it with the Hawks going forward?
It does. It gives us good confidence, but at the same time, that game's done with, so we didn't actually get the result. So, people can say a great effort, but we're not happy with that. We want to be winning games and not just competing in them.
It's up to the players then to acknowledge that the gulf between the two, the good and the bad, is just unacceptable, to stem out the bad parts.
Yeah, and that's what every team, is searching for, to maintain the good performances and eliminate the poor ones. And we're like no other team. We're doing the same thing. So, there's certain areas in our game that we need to improve on, but at the same time, we're playing some pretty good footy.
Which areas do you think you need to improve on?
I think the balance between, we're winning the contested possession, but again on the outside, Hawthorn have really good runners, and I thought their balance between the inside and the outside was really good, and just eliminating our skill errors in almost undefendable positions on the weekend, where when you turn it over, it makes it incredibly difficult for your defenders to defend one-on-one.
Some shots of Sando, arms outstretched and banging the phone, especially when Tex took that mark and goal. Was he frustrated with the shallow entries to the 50 at any stage?
Oh, he might have been. We haven't had our review yet, but as I said before, there's camera angles absolutely everywhere for the game nowadays. So, you could win a game but find plenty of shots of, coaches being angry and whatnot.
On that, Patrick, how much more can the players take as a responsibility on the field to deal with an opposition tactic, particularly the spear, that's been used so effectively against Adelaide, rather than relying on what comes out of the coach's box in messages or at the quarter time or half time break?
Yeah, well, those players, we're the ones that implement the game plan. So certainly the buck does. It finishes with us because we're the ones out there executing or not executing. There's times that we played it well and there's times that we didn't play it well. A lot of it has to do with sometimes that over-possession, as you mentioned, with the handball. When you do cut through with kick and really run out of traffic rather than handball out of traffic, you can sometimes bypass that +1 and make them far less effective.
What's your take on Brad Crouch?
Yeah, he's just getting back to the form that we know he's capable of, so he's only going to get better. And he's a star junior, and his first 3 weeks back have been absolutely brilliant, but he's only going to get better, which is a great thing for Crows fans.
Do you feel like you've got any idea of what he might be capable in years to come?
I think when you're the age that Brad is, you're really not quite sure on, what the ceiling is, and I think he's in that boat. He could be, without doubt, one of the best players in the competition. But he's still, at the same time, he's getting his fitness back after breaking his leg, so we'll certainly manage our expectations of him, but he's playing some pretty good footy.
If you guys sort of talked about him and Matt as midfielders sort of would eventually complement each other quite well, I think that's sort of said Matt's more of an outside, more of an inside sort of player, and Brad's got that outside speed, but obviously on Friday night he had, 20 contested possessions or something, so he's got both sides of his game.
Yeah, and I think you have to have that as a player. You can't just be an inside ball winner. You have to have that balance between the two, and they do complement each other. They're going to be, they'll play for this footy club for 10 years, and it's a great story to have them both at our club. So it's going to be a pretty special game, and I'm sure the parents will look forward to the time that they run it together.
Still feel you're a top outside, Paddy?
Oh, look, at the moment we've played some good footy, but we're ranked outside of the top 8, so that's where we're at. There's no point thinking we could be higher. We have to we focus on our next opponent, who are in the 8, and we plan to knock them over.
And again, apologies. Obviously, Ian Thorpe come out with some news. Just your take on that sort of thing?
Oh, look, it'd be great to one day that it's just not an issue, you know. We were discussing it this morning. It'd be great if there was no news about it. It was, you know, this is his decision and good luck to it.
Patrick, do you get involved internally in the debate as to whether you should start investing in youth or whether you assist with some established players?
No, not at all, to be honest. I think for us as players, we want the best players playing each weekend, regardless of their age.
Tune into Channel Crow for exclusive video, highlights, press conferences in full and player interviews. Channel Crow on afc.com.au and YouTube.